They should. Do they? No. Do they ever? What was it? What is it? Watergate? What? When was it that the media actually intervened and broke a story that broke up the narrative and the power of the state? They're few and far in between. This most recent round has really gotten me, as you could tell. These videos that clearly are highly produced studio productions, and the fact that not a single I read all these articles. Not every one of them. I read enough of them, of the biggest ones, to realize not a single one of them searched the metadata. What would the metadata have told us? Exactly when it was recorded and exactly where it was recorded. Did any news media outlet do that? Not a single one. All of them took the narrative and ran with it. And that was that. And we bought it. When I say we, I know you may not have bought it. I certainly didn't buy it, but enough people bought it for Israel to have been ramped up their killings again this week, and multiple hundreds have died this week alone because of those videos. Tell me it don't matter. Watch your mouth, man. Seriously. I mean that with the utmost respect, because it's the inability to see through the lies. It's our inability to confront the propaganda and to confront it fast. We got to be able to hit this. Do you realize how short the time has gone between outrage and action? In 1898, it took months to go from the yellow propaganda that started the Spanish American War. It took months to get that inflection point. You know, they had to work for almost a year, nearly 2 years. They had to work on the yellow cake theory of weapons of mass destruction between 9/11 and 2003 when they finally invaded Iraq. 2 years. It took them 2 years worth of propaganda to be able to get the authority to go in. They started bombing hours after the beheaded baby story. They dropped the beheaded baby story, and that thing ran around the world so quick, and they started bombing hours after it. And then just hours after these new videos came, they started all over again. And now Benjamin Netanyahu's in the United States of America, receiving the sympathies of Americans because of these videos that we've all seen of the starving hostages that are highly produced in a studio with lavalier microphones, rack focus, 35 millimeter lenses, soft lights. Hey, folks, we have some difficult times ahead because they're not done. The regime is never done. If we take one lesson from history and one lesson from this episode, it's that the regime is never done. Never done what? Never done killing people. It's a part of its core function to kill people. Why? Because they need their land. They need the territory. They need their resources. They need their oil. They need their lithium. They need their cobalt. It is the core function of the regime to kill people. How do you get away with it? How do you get authorization from your population? You lie. And you tell them that your enemy, they're all barbarians, and they all want to rape your women, and they all want to, sneak in your house and steal your stuff at night. You do to the people of Gaza what they did to black folks during slavery. How do you think they get justified slavery for hundreds of years? It's through the lies and the dehumanization and the vilification. What do you see them doing all over again right now? Do you think they're going to stop when they're done with Gaza? Do you think they're going to stop in the United States of America, they're just ramping up. They're ramping up the propaganda machine, even stronger here in the United States of America. They're manufacturing consent. Noam Chomsky taught us. They're manufacturing consent to do even more violence in the United States of America. And how are they going to get it done? Through the lies, through the propaganda, through the lack of journalism. I was disappointed this week to see that the Center for Public Broadcasting is shutting down. That's the company that owned NPR and their partnership with all the 1,500 stations around the country. It looks like it's going to be a very devastating thing. Many, if not most, of the NPR stations are not going to be able to remain open. And so it's going to be a real big hit on public broadcasting, the community-based public broadcasting that has been present in this country for decades now, that we've benefited from in many ways. But then I thought about something. NPR ran with the beheaded baby story. NPR ran, PBS most certainly ran with the hostage story without getting verification. When I thought about that, I said, well, wait a minute. Am I that sad? I'm still a little sad because they did some good things. But we certainly have to go to a different place, a different level. We have to go to a different place altogether where we have critical journalism being done, where we have analytical journalism, investigative journalism being done, things that are just not plausible, things that are just not logically possible. We have to have a media infrastructure that will call that out. If we don't have that, then literally everything else we're doing is for naught. Can I just keep it real? If we don't have a media infrastructure that is adversarial to the government versus just doing the public relations for the government, then everything else that we're doing is for naught, because it is the media apparatus that manufactures consent at a level that gives the government the authority to go in and bomb, to go in and commit genocide. I'll address this question right here. All the consent they needed was the control of Congress. They are consolidating power now. If you don't like guns, you might get some guns soon. Yes and amen. Yes, yes, yes. Amen, amen, amen. Listen, folks, my time is up. Coming up next is the Angry Ginger, my brother from another mother. Absolutely love that brother, love his spirit, love his thinking. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to just listen to that man, his synapses be firing. You know, like I absolutely love people who think at higher levels. I think this brother, when he really gets into that thing and he really analyzes something, I've seen it. I've seen it. So you need to stick around. Everybody who's watching on my channel, I'm telling you, come on over. I'm going to cut the stream on my side so that you can come on over to thisspace.tv, where we are building something that's going to grow, something that's going to be a blessing to the entirety of this nation. And it starts right now with my brother from another mother, the Angry Ginger. I'll see you next time, folks.
The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to patreon.com/the Show and support the Benjamin Dixon Show.
What is happening, everybody? Shout out to Benjamin Dixon. Man's always speaking truth. Appreciate y'all for being here today. Hope you guys are having a good Thursday. We're almost there, guys. For those of you that work on Monday through Friday, we've almost made it. So one day closer to the 2 days of freedom that our government gives us. You know, I wanted to talk about something, as I always do, because I sit here and listen to Benjamin Dixon, you know, talk about a lot of the things that are going on in this country right now that are cyclical. These are things that have been going on forever. I hate to be that guy. But since the Romans and even before them, and how things collapse. And, you know, I think it's Mark Twain that says, you know, history doesn't repeat itself, but it damn sure does rhyme. We're going through that right now. So what we have right now, Aristotle said this 2,000 years ago. He said there is democracy and then there's oligarchy. And in pure democracy, that's everybody having a vote. Or I'm sorry, direct democracy. It's pretty much the same thing, right? And direct democracy can be misused by having a person of great charisma that cares only for their own selfish needs and uses them to obscure the corruption and selfishness that is inherent in people that reach for power and want to have it. And his belief was that you're always going to have an aristocracy. Now, an aristocracy in his day meant educated people, professionals, experts. And he believed that once we got to a point where we no longer trusted the aristocracy, the experts, the people, the scholars, that was the beginning of the end. Because that meant that we were putting all of our faith in a charismatic individual that could lead the people astray. Now, he believed that the perfect democracy was one that had a welfare state. One that first of all, that term has been demonized. It has been demonized, and it has been, in many ways, as the right likes to do, they term it, you know, something that can get to people, something that has some historical meaning to cause fear and anger in people. So the term they like to link that to is communism. Just like communism has been demonized in the way that we always need to understand that no pure government is just one government. It's many different types of government. You have capitalism as an economic driver. You have the welfare state through socialism to help with the impoverished communities. And he believed that when you had a point where authoritarian governments start to dismantle our education systems, start to dismantle the welfare state, the social safety nets that impoverished, that they exist off of, he believed that we had to have that welfare state. And when we started to dismantle that welfare state, that is when it leads to total oligarchy, which in his opinion was the most evil of all systems in the government. So when we talk about cycles, we've seen this happen before. We're seeing it happen right now. We're seeing Trump dismantling the education system. We're seeing Trump right now dismantling the social safety nets that help the impoverished in our communities. And there's a channel that I really like. His name is Gary, I believe, Stevenson. And it's Gary's Economics is the channel. And I really like this guy because he's not one of us middle-class people. He's not one of the impoverished. He is a wealthy individual. But he's smart enough to understand that not just in America, but across the globe, that these systems are being dismantled and that is going to lead to the possibility of chaos. And one of the things he says, and this has to do a lot with what Benjamin Dixon was just saying about the cycle of hatred and the ongoing wars that these types of people benefit from. He said that there's five stages to this collapse. And the fourth stage is bread and circuses. And that's where we are right now, right? We've gone through the dismantling of the educational system. Well, I mean, it's already happened in the first 6 months. Dismantling of the welfare state. And then the bread and circuses. But the fifth stage, once oligarchs have siphoned every dollar, once they've destroyed the impoverished, once they've disenfranchised them from society, once they've siphoned every dollar that they can from the consumers of the middle class, the next step is to put the middle class in the military and send them to fight wars against other oligarchs. Because once you run out of blood from the stone that is the middle class, the only place to receive more wealth is to take it from the other powerful figures in this world. And that's where we're at. The bread and circuses are happening. Entertainment is there. Social media is there. Donald Trump is nothing but a facade of leadership. Really what he is a mouthpiece for anger and hate. And that's entertainment to people on the far right now. They love seeing the deportations. They love seeing the liberals cry. They flipped from being anti-Semitic to being willing to support the state of Israel, all through the idea that there's somebody here that you should hate more than Israel in Palestine. We are currently at a place for us where it's bread and circuses. In the next place, and you can see them gearing up for this. You hear about the Golden Dome. You hear about the nuclear subs being moved closer to Russia. You hear about why you should hate China. You know, why you should hate the foreign adversaries and how they're going to take away your life, the little bit of comfort that you still have. So the next step, if people don't wake up and do something about this, is to find yourself enlisted in the military and find yourself fighting in wars across the world for oligarchs to continue to enrich themselves by taking the wealth of other oligarchs. So I just wanted to say that because I heard Benjamin Dixon talking about the cycle and how this will never stop, right? It's repetitive. And it's you know, like I said, it might not be repeating itself perfectly, but it sure as fuck does rhyme. So I wanted you guys to hear that because I'm a big fan. If you've never read Aristotle's book on politics, it's called Politics. I'm considered one of the first books on that. It's prophetic as to what we're going through today. And I think that probably the one major strength on the left is you guys read. You read. And it's completely lost on the right side of the spectrum. You ever ask somebody to go look up an article on the right side? They're not doing it. They ain't reading shit. But I want you guys to know that because when we talk about all this stuff on this show, and we talk about all the other things that are going on, I think that the main thing that every single person here should be remembering is that this is not something that's just happening to happen. It's happening for a reason. And I've always said this, that Donald Trump's a distraction. He's a gigantic orange fucking clown, but he's not the guy who owns the circus. People like Peter Thiel, people like Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, we'll just combine the two. Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, people with tons of money, they have a goal. Donald Trump, I don't think Donald Trump has a goal except for to be well loved by the cult that he's the cult leader of. And he'll do whatever it takes to continue to keep that love. But I want people to remember, as we're going through this, we're going to talk about some other stuff today, obviously. But don't ever think that this is the goal. The goal is to disenfranchise you, to disillusion you, and to get you to fight for them both in your daily life by producing for them and also by potentially being enlisted in their military and sent somewhere else to fight for them to enrich them. Don't forget that. All right, guys, we got a lot to talk about today. Don't forget to stay hydrated. Don't forget to stay hydrated. We got a lot to talk about today. So let's get to it. We've got some different videos. I got to adjust my camera. Got to make sure we get all the books in. Got to get all the books in. You guys can see my boy George C. Marshall up there. Right after World War II, it was his plan that stabilized and started what will be today USAID. Rest in peace. But this is what we have. We've got a couple different people to talk about and the things they said. And we're going to talk about mainly the one thing that could lead to the downfall of Donald Trump within his own constituency, and something that we need to not stop talking about this. I saw this today where somebody said, when they were talking about Joe Rogan being the mouthpiece of Donald Trump to explain to MAGA cult members in 3 short grunts why they shouldn't care about Epstein, right? The guy said, we're afraid to start letting Rogan go off on this because if we do that, it might reignite people's interest in the Epstein topic. They think it's going away. It's our job to make sure it does not. Because this is the sword that is hanging above Donald Trump's head, and we are going to continue to talk about this until that sword descends. That's what we're here for. So what I've got for you guys today, let's pull it up here. This, my friends, this is an article from the Mediaite that says Candace Owens says Trump will pardon Ghislaine Maxwell. That's right. I know. I had a French person say it's Ghislaine. I'm like, nah, she's Ghislaine. For the rest of her life, she's Ghislaine. We all know that. We're sticking it with it. Candace Owens says Trump will pardon Ghislaine Maxwell because he's implicated in Epstein files. He is being so deceitful, it's incredible. This article goes on to say, Candace Owens told her viewers on Wednesday not to act surprised when President Donald Trump pardons Jeffrey Epstein's accomplice and convicted sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell, arguing the president was implicated in being so deceitful, it's incredible. Who's protecting that right now? Trump, said Owens during a discussion about government files relating to Epstein. Don't even act surprised when he pardons Ghislaine. That would just be foolish of you, foolish of me to think that he's not going to pardon Ghislaine. Okay? Now this is, look, we are in a weird reality, guys. I've seen a bunch of people say, it's weird to find myself agreeing with somebody like Marjorie Taylor Greene. And I've seen people say things like it's weird to find themselves agreeing with Elon Musk. And I know all of you had a moment during the inauguration of Joseph Biden when you said, am I actually going to say that Mike Pence did something good? That's where we're at. Because Candace Owens, guys, Candace Owens is fucking nuts. Candace Owens is crazy, and Candace Owens is a grifter. And when you see people like Candace Owens calling this out, or Joe Rogan calling this out, you have to ask yourself, how low are the people that are still defending Donald Trump and his administration after the amount of evidence that has came out to show that he is implicated in these files? How low are these people? How far down is that bar now? She continued, Trump is implicated by his sheer deceit right now in this moment. He is being so deceitful, it's incredible. And it seems to only be getting worse because now they keep pretending that they're trying to get to the bottom of everything. But they don't actually get to the bottom of everything. They actually seem to just be covering things up. They're making moves that only reveal a deeper cover-up. And we see that when we see Todd Blanche head over to the prison that Maxwell was earlier being held in before she was, sent to a posh Club Med prison, for her capitulation. And she said, nothing Donald Trump has ever done is bad. There was nothing I ever saw Donald Trump do that was bad. And only a moron would think that there is no connection between Todd Blanche going and getting her to say that and then her being removed from a medium security prison and then sent to a low security prison. By the way, something that does not happen. Something that they had to literally bend the rules to have done for her. Owens, who allegedly spoke with the president recently on the phone. By the way, the reason supposedly she spoke to him on the phone was because she's currently being sued by the French president and his wife for saying that the French president's wife is a man. And actually, a lot of these weird MAGA conspiracy theorists believe that not only is she a man, but she's actually her brother. And two UK journalists last year had to pay defamation to Macron after being shown that this, of course, was not happening. And we've seen this over and over again. This is obvious trans hate. This is obviously appealing to people in the MAGA world that are so lowbrow, so hateful, so angry that all you have to do is say, this woman looks as though she's a transgender woman, therefore she is a man. We see it when they call Michelle Obama Mike Obama. They're afraid of Michelle Obama. They're afraid of what would happen if Michelle Obama ran, because they know that they need to get out ahead of that. They need to talk about that she looks like a man, that she's a black woman. Because if she ever gets on that stage and she ever talks and she ever gives a speech and she ever says that she is joining up and she's going to run for the office, they know they're fucked. So they start with the hate. So once again, that's why she was allegedly Trump called Candace Owens to say, you should back off of that. You should back off of that. I've seen her up close. I think she's a woman. That's his words. I think she's a woman. Because Candace Owens is even further out than most people are, and Trump right now needs deals to be done with the French because he's already looking terrible on all these trade deals that he's getting screwed over on. So, allegedly, she spoke with the president recently on the phone. Then noted Maxwell's transfer to a minimum security prison, which took place just 1 week after U.S. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, Donald Trump's failed private lawyer, the guy who literally lost and helped Donald Trump become a 34-time felon. By the way, he is still a 34-time felon, who sat down to interview Maxwell about Epstein's activities. She's already in a low-security prison, but they're now transferring her into an even lower security prison, which is known as Camp Bryant, and remarkably, when questioned about this, Trump says that he didn't even know that that was happening, she said. She then played a clip of Trump claiming to be unaware of the transfer, but such a thing, it's not unusual. It is very unusual for this to happen. It is an anomaly. She continued, the best part of that actually is when he says in the middle, and I'm going to quote it here directly, he says, and I think, referring to Todd Blanc, and I think that he probably wants to make sure that people that should not be involved or aren't involved are not hurt by something. And I think Candace is realizing something I'm realizing here. And when he says people being hurt that should not be hurt, he's talking about himself. He's talking about Donald Trump, as Donald Trump oftentimes does. So she goes on to say, that would be very, very unfortunate and very unfair to a lot of people, he said. And he keeps saying that over and over again. Owens questioned, why does he keep offering that? Well, the obvious answer is because he himself and other people around him would be implicated, and that's the real reason. That's actually him being honest. Like, Todd Blanc's job is to go there to make sure that unfair things don't happen to people that could get swept up in this, and if you're Todd Blanc, how would you do that? Exactly. First of all, Todd Blanc, like I said, he's the one who lost that. Apparently, he's so good at his job, guys. So good at his job that he lost a 34 conviction felony sentence in the cover-up case that Donald Trump was found guilty in. So good, guys. These people literally recreate history. They rewrite it. To Donald Trump, this guy is a winner. A guy who definitely did not lose that case. And the more that we see somebody like Donald Trump talking, the more you see how guilty he is. Because if this was anybody else and they were not implicated in those files, what they would be saying, no, I'm not in those files. I'll release those files. We'll make sure that the victims are protected, but I have nothing to hide. But instead, Donald Trump says, I don't know. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Never seen the files. It's a made-up Obama hoax. Obama, the Clintons, and Biden, they all got together and wrote fan fiction about me and left it as a ticking time bomb. But the obvious lie in that is the very thing that MAGA themselves are spreading around. MAGA keeps saying, well, why didn't he use that against him? Why didn't Kamala Harris use that against him? Well, if it's all made up, they would have used it against him. But the reality is that there are people that are not part of Trump's circle that are in those files. There's a lot of people, celebrities, entrepreneurs, and politicians, and people across the globe that are implicated in those files. And if you were a person that had nothing to hide, even if your name was in those files, you know what you'd say? You would say, release the files because it will exonerate me. But he will continue, guys. He will continue to stand up there and make excuses because he's scared, because he knows. Why do you think he's doing this thing in Texas right now? Ask yourself that. Why do you think it is? Do you think it's just a political game? Do you think that when Donald Trump calls the congressmen and women in Texas, are there any women? I guess Jasmine Crockett's over there. When he calls him, he ain't calling Jasmine Crockett. When he calls him and says, I want you to redistrict, I want you to gerrymander, something that's supposed to only happen once every decade. I want you to gerrymander, and I want you to get me 5 more seats in the House. Do you think that's for political reasons? Because I don't. I think it's to protect his own ass. Because I think Donald Trump is scared as fuck right now. Because not only if the House turns blue and the Senate turns blue, will they start asking for those files and getting those files and releasing those files and talking about the things in those files, Donald Trump is possibly going to be impeached. Should be impeached. And he is scared to death. Because if he gets impeached, that's not just he's getting impeached. He's getting impeached when they release all the information. There is one thing that Donald Trump holds in the most esteem, more esteem than anything else, and that is his legacy. He wants this world to believe that he is the greatest president that has ever existed, regardless of what the political historians have said, that they have placed him, 42 or 45th, the lowest intellect president that has ever existed in American history. Regardless of that, Donald Trump thinks he can still salvage this. He thinks he can still salvage his legacy. And if he loses in November in the midterms, and the House turns blue and the Senate turns blue, he is not only just going to be impeached, but he is going to lose that legacy with, let's say, 80% of the country, because there's still going to be 20% of this country that thinks it's all a lie, that are still going to protect this dude. There's something new that just came out. This was a story on the New York Post that was uncovered from 2007. This right here is an article from 2007 that casts doubt on Trump's Epstein story. Independent journalist Roger Sullenberger uncovered an old New York Post article this week that appeared to refute President Donald Trump's story about when and why he booted convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein from his Mar-a-Lago club. CoffeeZilla has a great video on this, and you guys should watch it. He does a great job of pointing out how the stories don't make sense. That when Donald Trump says that Epstein stole Virginia Giuffre from him at Mar-a-Lago from his spa, that happened in 2000. The timeline does not add up. if he didn't kick him out until 2007 or 2008, as this article implies, then there's absolutely no way that that's the reason that he chose to do that. And there's a lot of other theories going on online as to why he kicked him out or allegedly kicked him out, to do with like real estate deals and such. But my personal opinion is Donald Trump never kicked Jeffrey Epstein to the curb. My opinion is Donald Trump may have extended arm's length Epstein after his eviction away from him because he was afraid that he was going to release information on him. And when people say that Jeffrey Epstein was afraid that Donald Trump was going to take his life, I think he meant that. And I think possibly, maybe, Donald Trump succeeded. We're going to find out one way or another about that one. Let's hope that House turns blue and that Senate turns blue. Epstein denies he is banned from Mar-a-Lago and says, in fact, he was recently invited to an event there, Sullenberger noted on Tuesday, adding, it is a crazy line from an October 15th, 2007 New York Post piece. By the way, this is the New York Post, confirming that Trump only canceled Epstein's membership 2 weeks after he agreed to plead guilty. Trump, of course, made headlines in late July when he told reporters aboard Air Force One that he was aware Jeffrey Epstein stole young women working at his Mar-a-Lago club, and that it was why he banned him. Once again, that language is sus. It's a little sus, guys. Mildly sus. Mr. President, Epstein has a certain reputation. Obviously, I'm just curious, were some of the workers that were taken from you, were some of them young women? A reporter asked Trump on his way back from Scotland. He replied, some of them? Were some of the young women, the reporter pressed him. Well, I don't want to say, but everyone knows the people that were taken, and it was the concept of taking people that work. God damn it, he used concept again. I love that. MAGA's like he doesn't use the word enigma. And then they go back and find him using the word enigma. He likes words. This man does indeed enjoy him. For a man who has never read a book, he certainly does enjoy words. He does. Let's try that again. Let's try that again. Well, I don't want to say, but everyone knows the people that were taken. And it was the concept of taking people that work for me is bad. But that story's been pretty well out there, and the answer is yes, they were, Trump replied after a long answer. He was then asked, Mr. President, did one of those stolen, persons include Virginia Giuffre? Trump replied, I don't know. I think she worked at the spa. I think so. I think that was one of the people. Yeah, he stole her. And by the way, she had no complaints about us. Weird thing to say, kind of sus. As you know, none whatsoever, making it more sus. Giuffre, who sought civil and criminal action against Epstein and his accomplice Maxwell and accused Prince Andrew of abuse, killed herself in April of this year. Trump's comment raised eyebrows at the time as it called into question the known timeline surrounding Trump barring Epstein from his club. Ryan Goodman, an NYU law professor and legal analyst, shared the clip online and noted, here's the very disturbing part of this, he added. The timing and Trump's knowledge. In 2000, Epstein-Maxwell took Giuffre from Mar-a-Lago. In 2002, Trump said the most infamous line about Epstein being a terrific friend and liking younger women, is what that should say. And in 2004, Trump says he ruptured with Epstein. Of course, Epstein later pleaded guilty to underage sex offenses in June of 2008. Goodman wasn't the only one to note the timeline surrounding Trump and Epstein's falling out. SV Date, the White House correspondent at HuffPost, added, Trump on Air Force One confirms that one of the people on Epstein's list that he stole from him at Mar-a-Lago was Giuffre. That was in 2000. He told the NY Mag in 2002 that he admired Epstein's taste in women. The break from Epstein wasn't for another 2 years. Business Insider's Jacob Shamsian praised Sullenberger's finding in the New York Post, but also warned it should be taken with a grain of salt given the source. Well, yeah, we also need to remember that the source that we're currently quoting to say that Donald Trump is innocent of all charges is Epstein's partner in crime and a person that is currently sentenced to 20 years in a prison, apparently now a Club Med, named Maxwell. So when we look at these things, guys, when we see this amount of evidence that continues to grow. It's absolutely mind-boggling. You know, it's straight out of 1984. You know, the party's final act was to convince the voter that they shouldn't believe their eyes and their ears, right? It's so strange to sit up here after 2 years of doing this and watching these things and listening to MAGA talk about the Epstein files in the manner that they did, to sit here and say to every one of you that there's a distinct possibility that if this House doesn't flip, that if the Senate doesn't flip, that this man is going to get away with quite possibly either at least being a benefactor of, or perhaps participating in, one of the worst crimes that has ever happened in this country. At no point would me or you or anybody else in this country other than the billionaire oligarchs, and I don't even know if they're immune to this, will we ever be able to have this amount of evidence being put forth to show our guilt and not be at the least investigated? If you came out, if your significant other died, and you said, well, you know, I didn't do it for sure, but there happens to be a letter that supposedly has my name all over it. But you have to remember, I didn't write that letter. The people that dislike me the most got together and wrote that letter, but didn't show it to you, and instead let me have it. Your ass is going to jail. You might not be convicted. You might not be determined guilty at that point. But I will tell you this right fucking now. You would be awaiting your trial in a prison cell. This is fucking mind-blowing. Absolutely. Absolutely mind-blowing, guys. Yeah, don't believe your lying eyes. Who you gonna believe? You gonna believe all of this evidence from the crooked legacy media? Or are you gonna believe me? The Don? Your buddy? Your friend? The guy who's just like you. And if I was MAGA, I would stop saying this man is just like me as quickly as possible. That's one, if I were you, I would leave in the bank. Go ahead and just put that one somewhere else, because here in a minute, if shit works out in a certain way, the phrase, this man is just like us, is going to be probably used in your trial as well. So I wanted to cover that because I do think that it's very, very important for us to talk about these things, right? Now I want to talk about something else. I want to spend the first part of this show really talking about some of the news that we're going to catch up on before we get to some of the videos and such. But I want to talk about, the hypocrisy of Trump and his administration, and how this you have to continue to expose these things. It's exhausting. It's super tiring. It seems repetitive. We sound like broken records at some point. But it's important to keep talking about these things, to keep exposing these things, because there may be one person out there that, if you can expose them to the truth of what is going on in our administration, might go, I didn't know that. I had never heard that. And it might make a difference. So moving on from the Epstein stuff, I wanted to talk about this. This is one of the January 6th guys. One of the January 6th guys. This was just reported today at 9:13 a.m. Trump official caught in bombshell January 6th tape urging cop murder. By the way, this is a person that Donald Trump not only pardoned, but now employs. On my way to work every day, guys. On my way to work every day, I drive past multiple houses, Trump flag houses, right? And a couple of them have thin blue line flags. And if you are a supporter of police officers and you can find yourself in a place where you are supportive of this guy in Trump's administration saying these things that we're about to talk about police officers on January 6th, then you're a hypocrite. And I think at this point they're immune to it. I think they're immune to hypocrisy. Because we're about to read this story, and this is the most hypocritical thing you will ever see from somebody that flies a thin blue line flag. NPR, thank you, NPR. I know Benjamin Dixon was just talking about that before he got off. NPR still doing some work before. I want to see NPR dump everything they have before they go. NPR has obtained police body cam footage of Trump's Justice Department official Jared Weiss calling on January 6 rioters to kill police officers. You guys are disgusting, man. You guys are disgusting. Weiss can be seen and heard saying on the footage, I'm former law enforcement. You're disgusting. You are the Nazi. Once again, always blame your opponent for the things that you are doing. You are the Gestapo. You can't see it because you're chasing your pension. Yeah, fuck them. Yeah, kill them. Yeah. He later cheers as rioters push their way forward. Weiss's incendiary statements, which he admitted to under oath in January, so he said these things. This is nothing. He's not even pulling the Trump. It wasn't me. Obviously, there's video footage of him doing it. He said these things. Made headlines in July after he was appointed senior counselor to Ed Martin, who is working to help January 6 rioters fight against improper investigation tactics and unethical prosecutions. So this guy literally called for the murder of police officers on January 6 at the hands of the people that he is attempting to defend using Donald Trump's administration. Like, you can't make this shit up. Guys, people say stuff to me, and when I hear it, if I don't know if something is true or not, generally I just file it away in the memory bank, right? I'm going to look that up later. I might go, oh, that sounds crazy. You sure that's true? Yeah, definitely true. Oh, okay. I'm going to go look this up later. If you were to say to me that this existed in this form, where a man that called on January 6th as part of the rioters, a man called for the death of the police officers in that crowd at the hands of the January 6 rioters, would then later be put in a place where he can help to affect the defense of these same people. I would not believe you. If you told me that shit, I would look you dead off in your face and be like, that's not real. That's not real. Oh, it's real. Weiss defended his speech as a heat-of-the-moment action influenced by what he saw as police brutality on the part of the Capitol officers. By the way, these were the officers that were outnumbered by January 6 rioters, that were being maced, being beaten with flagpoles. Multiple people in the crowd did have weapons. He said, those are terrible things to say, of course. I shouldn't say those things. I think I was careless and used, terrible words when I was angry. Weiss worked for the FBI from 2004 to 2017 before moving on to the far-right propaganda machine Project Veritas, where he infiltrated teachers' unions across the Midwest. Weiss was charged with 2 felonies and 4 misdemeanor counts in 2023, including trespassing and disrupting the orderly conduct of government for his actions on January 6th. All of his charges and the charges of hundreds of other rioters were dropped by Donald Trump. Weiss's pardoning and senior appointment show that Trump truly sees no wrong in what happened on January 6th, and he won't even pretend to. Rather than display any level of accountability, he rewards and uplifts those, like Weiss, who called for violence against police and against the country in his name. So, you might be saying, yeah, we know all this stuff. You're preaching to the choir, right? You're preaching to the choir, right? So why even say all these things? Like I said, because it's important to keep saying these things, because there's tons of people out there that are friends with MAGA people And these MAGA people are telling stories to these people, these politically illiterate people that claim they're apolitical or they don't want to be involved in politics, or, you know, hey man, just, you know, both sides are bad, brother. Like, you know, all the politicians are corrupt, whatever. Two birds, or two wings, one bird, all of the cliches. And the information that they're currently getting from those MAGA supporters that are their friends or family is that none of this is happening. January 6th, that was just tourism, guys. That was just tourism. There was no violence on that day. I was there. It was completely peaceful. Yes, we brought a hangman's noose. That's what you do at peaceful protests. Yes, we chanted "Hang Mike Pence," and yes, a woman did get shot while trying to climb through a door to attack the vice president. But it was completely peaceful, guys. Yes, there are thousands of hours of video of people smashing cops in the doors, overrunning them, beating them with flagpoles, macing them. Don't believe your lying eyes. So we're going to keep talking about this. And one of the reasons I'm saying that is because I want to lead up to this video here. This is a video. I believe it's Kyle. It's South Park time, so I say Kyle. Stop it, Kyle. This is a video from Kyle Kalinske that I want you guys to watch with me, and we're going to talk about it. And it's called Watch. Here we go. Whoops. There we go. It's called Watch MAGA Voters Squirm Defending Trump's Blatant Corruption. Because these people will defend anything. Look, the bar is already as low as it goes. You know, I do not think that there is any lower bar than below protecting child predators, right? I mean, is there? Can you guys give me a bar that's below that? They will go so far down that they will protect a man that is protecting child predators and may be one himself. That's insane to me. So I want to watch this video. I did just see this comment from Devil's Advocate, and I want to make something clear. I don't think I ever knew Babbitt was at the door that led to the vice president. As far as that goes, I do not believe that Pence was there. I do believe that those people believe that Mike Pence was there. The story, as I understand it, was that they believed that they were getting to Mike Pence and that a Capitol Police officer that was, I believe it was somebody else was there. It wasn't Mike Pence. Shot that woman while she was trying to get in. So I want to make sure that that's completely clear, that I am not 100% sure Mike Pence was there. I am insinuating that they believed that he was, and that's what they're going for. So just want to make sure I keep that clear so that way there is no misunderstandings. So let's watch this video here. MAGA voters squirm defending Trump's blatant corruption from Kyle Kalinske.
Guardian did this awesome segment here. So the Guardian did this awesome segment here where they went to, I guess it was Charlie Kirk's, what's it, TPUSA? Turning Point USA?
Yep.
Talking Point USA? Whatever the hell they call
Turning
it.
Point USA.
It's basically Charlie Kirk's conservative Republican MAGA group where he tries to, like, you know, swindle and con young people into becoming Republicans. And they have this big event that they do. I guess they do it every year, every other year, or whatever. And a journalist from The Guardian went to this thing. And, man, did he get some awesome footage here. So, first of all, what you're about to see is a lot of the MAGA faithful.
By the way, before he gets into this, I wanted to say this. I just saw a CNN video talking about left-wing content creators going to Charlie Kirk's Turning Point USA, and I do want to watch that video. I don't think we'll have time for it tonight, but maybe we'll catch it on my stream on Saturday. But I think it's amazing that they have started this Unfuck America tour, and I know that it had some hiccups and stuff at the beginning, but watching left-wing people infiltrate Charlie Kirk's Turning Point USA, that is definitely on the docket for me. We definitely need to watch that. So we might not get to it here on this show tonight. We've got a couple other things to talk about before we get there. But I definitely want to watch it, so we'll try Saturday for sure.
Desperately squirming and struggling to try to deflect from the fact that Trump is the most openly and brazenly corrupt president we've ever had.
By far.
Ever.
By far.
So you have that, but then you also have sloppy Steve Bannon gets called out directly to his face, and he also is unsure how to deal with it. So let's watch.
That's a great guy. He's the best president we've had since Reagan, maybe even better. That's what it means to me.
Makes a lot of money.
Dude, look at that grift. Look at the grift. This is what he's saying. He's the most corrupt president, like, in your face. But the reason these people like him is because they are like him. I made the mistake of saying I don't get why Trump or Trump supporters think Trump is anything like him. I obviously missed what they were talking about. They meant this guy's just as big of a disgusting human being as I am, and he is willing to grift off anything just like I am. Look at that shit. These people know this dude is protecting potential traffickers, and they are hawking his goods. Like, what the fuck is going on with this society?
See, that's one of his businesses. He makes money.
You don't mind that?
No, I don't mind it at all. Not at all.
What do you make of this? It's great. It's kind of signifies Trump, signifies his brand, and it signifies America. Luxury.
They are just like him. You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of when dude asked him about the Declaration of Independence, and he was like, you know, it's a declaration. You know, it was a beautiful time. It was a really, really beautiful, beautiful time of independence. And I think he said it was during the Civil War. I'm pretty sure he insinuated that the Declaration of Independence was from the Civil War. But this dude just said about these shoes, what does it signify? Well, I think it signifies Trump. I think it signifies what Trump's about. I'm guessing he's saying gold. And I think it signifies America. What the fuck does that mean? The fuck do you mean? What do any of those words actually fucking mean when put together in a fucking sentence? Jesus Christ. Let's get that one more time.
No, I don't
Let's
mind
get that
it
one
at
more
all.
time.
Not at all.
What do you make of this? It's great. It's kind of signifies Trump, signifies his brand, and it signifies America. Luxury. Golf, great pride.
He said luxury, golf, not like a strong economy, not like, you know, helping the country, not like keeping the GDP steady. Golf and luxury, guys. That's what signifies Donald Trump. I guess he ain't wrong there. Also, them shoes are ugly as fuck. Let's be honest. Those are some ugly ass shoes, dude.
It's the Turning Point Student Action Conference. It's designed for Gen Z attendees. It's one of the most mobile kind of youth MAGA groups in the country. It's one of the reasons why a lot of younger Gen Z men in particular swung their votes Donald Trump in 2024.
Here, influencer culture, hard-right politics, and an array of merch are all unified under the MAGA brand.
Content creation industrial complex. Every single booth is making some form of content.
I think that we have so many wins in this second administration. I mean, we literally have closed the border. All the promises that he has made so far have been kept.
Oh my God.
Oh no. Oh no. Let's go one more time. Let's go one more time. Let's go one more time.
Content creation industrial complex. Every single booth is making some form of content.
I think that we have so many wins in this second administration. I mean, we literally have closed the border. All the promises that he has made so far have been kept.
Oh.
I hope that woman knows she about to get deported. Did you guys see where the Trump guy, the Trump burger guy, got his visa revoked, his green card revoked? The guy who started Trump Burger was some other dude, a Lebanese American, got his green card revoked, and he's going to get deported. The guy who started Trump Burger. They don't care about you. They don't care at all. You're the wrong color skin.
Oh my God. How much are they paying you? How much are they paying you to say such absurd things? Let me ask you that. Every promise he kept, he's delivered. Really? The Epstein files were released?
man.
I missed that one. He was able to end the Ukraine war on day one? I missed that one too. Inflation is going up. It's been going up. What happened?
No, Kyle. They're totally going to have a sit down. Dude, Trump and Zelensky and Putin are going to have... It's over, bro. It's over, you know, like the 37 times we've been told it's over so far. Kyle just doesn't understand. Trump, when he said a day, it was kind of like when he said 2 weeks until the Infrastructure Act. He meant like 2 weeks 4 or 5 years ago from now when Biden does it. When Donald Trump said he was going to stop the Ukraine war in 24 hours, he meant like, you know, once they had like a solid deal. When he said all he had to do was pick up the phone and make one phone call to Vladimir Putin, the war would be over. Obviously, what he was saying was, you know, once Putin's already agreed to some deals that were made like, I don't know, 3 fucking years ago after he's completely demolished Ukraine, I can make one phone call and then it's over. Obviously, that's what he was going for.
I thought that was going to be taken care of on day one also. What are you talking about? Oh, my God. The only promises he's keeping are, like, the mass deportation ones, and whenever he said, hawkish, I'm going to bomb people shit. Those are the only things, like, yeah, congratulations. We created Alligator Auschwitz. We sent people to a gulag in El Salvador. We have ICE Gestapo thugs covering their face and rounding up innocent people. That stuff. So
he's getting that shit done.
This is how it works, y'all, for those of you who don't understand. Anytime Trump promises to do something bad, he's going to deliver on that. He's telling the truth. He's going to deliver. Anytime he says he's going to do anything good, he's lying. The opposite is going to happen. He's going to do something very bad.
That's solid. That's solid. That is actually fucking 100%.
Bad. That's how it works. And here, the shamelessness of these grifters, man, it drives me crazy. It drives me crazy. Because they just stop. They don't engage in reality. I mean, when Trump was running, he was attacking Biden because,
I disagree with they don't engage in reality. They engage in reality. It's just not their reality or our reality. It's their reality. This goes all the way back to Rudy Giuliani and alternative facts. These people in their head definitely see things that we don't see. Like, I'll tell you this, guys, as a person that at one time or another in my life has had a bit of a shrooming in a forest, I can tell you that when you live in a world of hallucinations, everything is great.
FEMA left behind these people in North Carolina who were experiencing a flood, and how dare he? I'd make sure FEMA was there for people. I'd make sure that they help people out. The second Trump got in office, it was, we're going to abolish FEMA and we're going to send it to the states, and I think that they can handle it, and I don't think it's really the job of the federal government.
How's that going?
You were just saying how much you'd be better with FEMA and you'd help people, and now he's denying disaster declaration after disaster declaration. This is... on a dime they flip, and these fucking idiots go right with them. It drives me crazy. None of these people believe anything. They don't have any beliefs.
Yeah.
If Trump were to wake up tomorrow and say, we're doing Medicare for all, universal health care, socialized medicine, folks, I want to do something that's kind of communist. I like...
Kyle's killing me right now.
Communism now. They'd be like...
Dude, he watched the South Park, too. You know he did. You know, this is... We go back to cult behavior. The reason that people join cults is because they've gotten themselves to a place in their own reality where they don't know how to answer the question, what is my purpose? What goals do I have in life? Why am I here? And most people, good people, are able to discern that the reason that you are here, the thing that makes you the happiest, is to invest in the people around you, to make other people's lives better. Like, that's one of the reasons that when you become a parent, it's like such hard work to be a parent. But the reward, if you're a good parent, if you make your children into good human beings, the reward for that is something that cannot be replaced. And these people, most of them are of an older age, most of them not good parents, most of them so caught up in all the bullshit that they're just letting their kids fail. They've lost the plot. And they look at their own failures, their own victimization, and they say, this can't be my fault. This can't be my fault. And that's where Donald Trump comes in. Donald Trump steps in and says, it's not your fault. And they're like, well, whose fault is it? Well, it's the transgender's fault. Oh, fuck, you're right. Well, who else's fault? It can't just be well, no, it's the immigrants' fault. Oh, yeah, immigrants. They're doing all kinds of bad shit. It's women's fault. You're not an incel because you go online and say ridiculous shit in left-wing channels chats, and that's all you do all day is troll people, and ain't no woman ever going to touch your pee-pee if the only thing that you have to brag about is how good you are at trolling the libs on YouTube. That's not your fault. That's women's fault. They should be totally impressed by that, bro. The thing about cult members is they don't want agency. They don't want to believe that they have any part in what is happening. They want to believe they are victims of injustice. And the crazy thing is that they pick the most marginalized people because that's who Republicans hate. They didn't choose billionaires. They didn't choose ultra wealthy. They didn't choose corporations. You know why? Because they're pussies. Because to sit up here and say, it's not immigrants that are making my way of life harder. It's not LGBT people that are making my way of life harder. It's corporations and billionaires that own everything, that have bought up all the resources. They're the ones making life harder. That scares them because they don't have any courage, because they are afraid to get shit on by the billionaires up top. Instead, they would much rather capitulate and just put their future in the hands of them. If that means that they end up at a factory building robots so Elon Musk has friends smoking cigarettes outside where they will get cancer and die because they have no health care, as long as they can die and on their deathbed they can say, man, Trump really tried to help us, but those transgenders gave me cancer. As long as they can do that and they can claim it's not their fault, that's a good life to these people.
Oh, yes, that's great, sir. We love that. Even though we've been saying that they want to kill your grandma, now we will flip on a dime and say we love those things. I can't stand these people.
A lot of people kind of concerned about allegations of self-dealing in the Trump administration. So Donald Trump is accepting a $400 million Qatari jet. He's made $380 million roughly on a meme coin. Do you guys have any concerns about that?
No, not really.
Oh, my God.
Let's just do that one more time. Let's just do that one more time.
A lot of people kind of concerned about allegations of self-dealing in the Trump administration. So Donald Trump is accepting a $400 million Qatari jet. He's made $380 million roughly on a meme coin. Do you guys have any concerns about that?
No, not really.
These are the same people, guys. These are the same people that said Donald Trump doesn't want money. Donald Trump wants to help. He wants to help the country. He wants to save the country from the transgenders. Brenda, did you know, Brenda, that Donald Trump doesn't take a dime? He don't need it. He could be on a yacht in the middle of the ocean right now, just, probably with young women. That's not important. It's not important. Brenda, don't bring that up. He don't want no money. He's doing this to save the country. And this motherfucker just came out and said, I should have used the office to make more money the first time I was there. These are the same people that are like, Nancy Pelosi, Brenda? Do you know who Nancy Pelosi is? She's a nasty woman, Brenda. Put the mayonnaise down and come in here and listen to me bitch about this. She's a nasty woman. She trades insider stocks. Her husband, I swear to God, he's having gay sex. Like, these are bad people, Brenda. Because they're ripping us off. They're getting trades. And I don't trade the stock market because, I'm too poor to do that. But you know what? For the people that do it, God bless them. But that Nancy Pelosi, she's an evil-ass lady because she is corrupt as fuck. These are the same people. They're fucking hypocrites.
Oh, my God. I'm done, dog. I'm out of here. I literally don't know what I'm supposed to do with these people. I could come prepared with all the evidence in the world and a list. Like, hey, man, here's 15 different examples of Donald Trump being corrupt. All the details you want to know. I can answer any question you want to ask. Here's all that 15 different examples. And he would have the exact same reaction.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Donald Trump took tens of millions, potentially even hundreds of millions from the Saudi government for the Live Golf events. That's a total bribe. This guy doesn't care. The $100 million he took from Miriam Adelson to let Israel annex the West Bank, which they're literally doing right now, he doesn't care. He doesn't care.
Dude, from his first term, the Golan Heights. Like, all they had to do was put his name on a sign. Look this shit up. They put his name, Trump Heights, they called it. Trump Heights. And Donald Trump recognized the annexation of the Golan Heights from Syria. They're actually throwing some big dollars at him. I think that's what he's saying when he's like, I should have made more money off of this. People are like, bro, all you got was a sign out of that? And he's like, could I have gotten more? And they're like, oh, yeah, dog. Netanyahu would have, like, kicked down lots of money. Brenda! I think Trump got screwed in his first term. Like, God damn it, man.
He doesn't care that Trump never divested from his businesses, even though he said he would do it. He doesn't
took Jimmy Carter's peanut farm.
care that he made $160 million from foreign governments, and that was just in his first term. The second term, we've probably already eclipsed that. He doesn't care about the NFTs or the crypto exchange or the trading cards or the $100,000 watches. Doesn't care about Jared taking $2 billion as a bribe from the Saudi government. Doesn't care about the resort he's making or golf course in Oman and the resort in Vietnam that just opened up. Jimmy Carter had to sell.
He's about to say it. Oh, shit, son. I was going to say, just think, dude, if Biden got his fucking kid a job at Burisma, allegedly. If that were true even, it probably is, to be honest with you. You guys know, most of you that watch my show know my thoughts on that. They were like, this motherfucker got his kid a job. Fuck that. You guys know that Joe Biden's son, you know that he's not qualified to be on a Ukrainian government's fucking council. You know that? If this was Joe Biden, Jesus Christ, I actually kind of feel that we might be dodging a bullet here. Because I think if Kamala Harris had actually won and had to deal with all of this bullshit, if Kamala Harris was being offered all of these things and she even took one of these fucking things, which I don't even think she would, but if she had taken one of these fucking things, my God, dude, they would fucking crucify her. And here's the thing, and we know this about mainstream media. It wouldn't be just Fox News crucifying her. It would be CNN. It would be MSNBC. It'd be the Daily Show even. Everybody would be fucking crucifying Kamala Harris if she took one of these fucking things. And if she didn't take any of them, they would have made something up. You gotta be fucking kidding me. I'm about to walk the fuck off.
His peanut Oman as a bribe from the Saudi government.
We gotta let him get it out.
Doesn't care about the resort he's making or golf course in Oman and the resort in Vietnam that just opened up. Jimmy Carter had to sell his peanut farm. Not because he was taking money from foreign governments or foreign individuals, but because there was the threat that maybe he might. Just the existence of the peanut farm was like, hey, this is kind of sketchy.
Yeah, I played that video for you guys of how Republicans used to talk about immigration. Dude, Donald Trump, he destroyed it. He destroyed even the idea that Republicans should even be mildly ashamed of the shit that they do. I want to give a shout out to Fan over there on my channel. Thank you so much, Fan to Death, for the 10 memberships. I appreciate you so much. Thank you, Fan. You know I love you.
Let's sell it. Let's just be on the safe side. Now, this guy, he just went to do a grand opening of a new golf course in Scotland while president. This is what you get from a family that stole from a cancer charity and is now legally not even allowed to operate a charity in the state of New York because of that. This is what you get from a guy whose university was a fraud. He did a scam university. This is what you get. And now all of his little loyalist cult sycophants. Oh, no, I'm not worried about that at all. Really? You're not worried about that at all? Well, isn't that cute?
So Donald Trump...
They never cared. They never cared. And that's the lie. They never cared about free speech. They never cared about a Biden crime family. They never cared about any of that stuff. They just want to own the libs.
It's accepting
that at all. Really? You're not worried about that at all? Well, isn't that cute?
So Donald Trump is accepting a $400 million Qatari jet. He's made $380 million roughly on a meme coin. Do you guys have any concerns about that?
No, not really. At the end of the day, the big, beautiful bill passed, and that's all I really care about.
that bill kicked 17 million people off their health care.
Yeah, that guy does not know that. I guarantee you that young black dude has no fucking idea what is in the big, beautiful bill.
10 million. And that's what this guy's happy about. That's what he's
excited about.
He has no
idea.
This is what I say, man. Like, I was so naive for so long. I really was under the assumption that, well, look, everybody's roughly the same. Everybody means well. Everybody's just trying to get by and take care of their business, and they wish well on other people. And, you know, they might disagree on politics, but really it's largely just a misunderstanding. And, you know, nobody's got, like, bad intentions.
Definitely not a transfer of wealth from the middle class to the ultra wealthy. You know, I watched that Jank versus 20 Democrats and Republicans the other day. I've got a lot to say about that, so I'll try not to. But one of the things that stood out to me was this Republican asking him, you know, about the tax cuts. And Jank did rightly point out that the ultra wealthy received, you know, 99% of all of those tax cuts. And the guy kept saying over and over again, but what's wrong with giving the middle class a tax break? What's wrong with the big, beautiful bill continuing, you know, the minor tax cuts? Now, Jank, of course, pointed out how that's actually not a tax break. And after the tariffs and everything else, you actually go into a net negative in the middle class. And impoverished people overall are going to actually lose even more money that they don't have, right? But the guy's point really says something about these people's mentality. And that is that they are so hungry for just one W in their life that if you just carve off just the smallest piece of the pie, and I mean no fucking fruit, just a piece of crusty ass fucking crust, just the shittiest, left out. It's been, you know, 3 days since the pie's been refrigerated. It's got just a fucking smidgen of apple somewhere on that bitch. They're like, you know what, we won? You know what? Fucking Trump's the king. Fuck yeah, dog. He broke us off. Now, if Kamala Harris wants to build 500,000 houses to make housing cheaper, if she wants to cut red tape to make building houses easier, if she wants to stop corporations from price gouging you, they're like, fuck that, that's communism. I want my shit a little bit at a time. I just want the tiniest piece of fucking crust that, because you know what? I worked hard and I got my tiny piece of crust from the ultra wealthy. You got to be fucking kidding me. That's what these people believe. They believe that they would much rather get a tiny piece of crust and believe that they worked hard for it and that they're not getting a handout than get fucking half the goddamn pie. It's fucking insane. Thank you, Boston Brian. Boston Brian over there on my chat. You should come check out this space, Boston Brian, thisspace.tv. Should come hang out with us and say hi to all the people over here as well, my friend. Thank you for the $1.99. Boston Brian's my dude. Dude, okay, I take it back. I said the other day it could be me, straight facts, pissed off bartender, and Boston Brian on a podcast together. We're going to have to bring Pastor Benjamin in there, too. You are all my brothers from another mother. Thank you, Boston Brian.
What a childlike worldview. Childlike. No, there's good and evil in this world. And these people are just fucking evil. I wish it wasn't the case.
Yep.
I wish I didn't have this much of a pessimistic, dark view of these people, but what else do you call it?
Yeah.
What else can you call it? So I don't care about his corruption and Trump scamming his own people with a crypto meme coin. I don't care about that, because what I do care about is I'm celebrating over the 17 million people that just got kicked off their health care. I don't know how to talk to that. I don't know how to engage with that. I don't know how. I'm not going to pretend like this shit is fucking normal. It's not normal. We're nowhere near normal. We left normal fucking eons ago, dog.
What's right about accepting a $400 million gift from another state, though?
What's wrong about accepting it?
Could be called a bribe.
By what standard?
By the general definition of what a bribe is.
Well, what did they get in exchange for it?
Well, I guess we don't know yet, right? But I mean,
Until you know, it's speculation.
Imagine Joe Biden decided
that
I'm going to take a $400 million jet
right there
from Qatar. Go ahead, give me that jet. I love that jet. Thank you very much. And by the way, it's being given to Trump. And then Trump, when he's not president anymore, he's keeping that jet. It's not like, oh, this is the new Air Force One and every president's going to use it. No, he's...
Bro, if Joe Biden took the fucking towels, If Joe Biden took the fucking towels on the way out of the fucking Oval Office, if he stole the fucking complimentary soap out of the bathroom, these fucking people would lose their mind. Jesus fucking Christ, the amount of fucking DMs I would get from Trump supporters telling about how much crime Joe Biden has done. Do you know about all the money he's taken from foreign governments? Those are literally their fucking words. Like, this isn't fucking, I'm not even paraphrasing. Joe Biden, do you guys remember that shit? Joe Biden took money from the Chinese government. That's what they said, that he took money from fucking Saudi Arabians. You gotta be fucking kidding me.
He's gonna use it, and then he's gonna keep it. Literally $400 million just given to Trump, just like that. A new plane just handed to him, right?
Thanks for
Imagine
coming
Joe
over,
Biden
Brian.
accepted
Appreciate
that, or
you, buddy.
Barack Obama, or Hillary Clinton. What would these people say? Now they're going, is it corrupt? Well, what are they getting in return? If you don't know what they're getting in return, then can you really say it's corrupt? I can't, man. I can't. I don't know how to fix this.
No, I don't either,
know how to
dude.
fix this.
So who's giving the gift and why?
The state of Qatar is giving the gift.
Again, I want to know both sides. I'd like to be part of this gift.
And there you go. Oh, fuck. Russell Brand, dog? How many pedos are at this fucking show? Oh, I'm sorry. He's just an SAer, right? I think the person that he assaulted was of age. My bad. That's my bad. That's my bad. It's hard to keep up with which ones have harmed children and which ones have harmed adults. It's fucking hard to keep up with. You can't judge me. God damn it.
Just watching Russell Brand, who has pled not guilty.
Fucking button your shirt, you pervy freak. God damn it. How is this guy still doing shit?
Oh.
How does this guy still exist?
Sorry,
and just,
Boston.
Like, have shows?
Sorry.
Wasn't he accused by like 78 different women a year or two ago?
Like
And now
a
he's
year
still,
ago.
like, what, a
I
MAGA
think he's still
superstar,
on
by the way?
trial.
Sure, it's just a coincidence that his like literal come to Jesus, I'm a
Hold on,
Christian.
I gotta stop because Jeannie's killing me. Jeannie says J.D. Vance intends to take the Oval Office couch after. Oh, you're killing me, Jeannie. Oh, shit. Trump gets the plane and fucking J.D. Vance gets the couch. Do you think J.D. Vance is going to have his own couch on Donald Trump's plane? Do you think when people get on Air Force One, like there's just a weird couch sitting there? It's all pleather and shit. Looks all like oiled up and stuff. Like you think like the Saudi Arabian government gets on the plane and they go to sit down and Trump's like, not that one. Don't sit on JD's couch. Don't sit on JD's couch. You probably won't be able to get up. It's very sticky. It's weird. I don't know why, but it's very sticky. It's very shiny. Oh,
And
you're
now
killing
moment
me.
happened to coincide with him being outed as a disgusting freak and a perv.
Oh, the
right?
fake gold
And a
definitely
fucking
goes to
criminal
Trump.
and a pest. I'm sure that's a coincidence that he decided, oh, I'm going to welcome Jesus in my heart at the same time that literally every single person left of center went, fuck that guy. We don't like that guy anymore. That guy's creepy. So he goes full MAGA, he goes full Christian, right? And now here he is. Well, if you're going to go full MAGA and go Christian, stop dressing like it's fucking 1999 and you're at the MTV VMA Awards, bitch. Button your shirt up, motherfucker. You can't do it.
This is the left I love. God damn it. I got to tell you guys how much I enjoy this. Kyle Kalinske, my brother. I love seeing you like this, dog. This is where we need to be. This is why I watch Boston Brian. This is why I watch Kyle Kalinske. This is why I watch the Humanist Report, because, god damn it, this is exactly who the left needs to be. No more soft fucking language. Button your fucking shirt up, you fucking pervert. That's where we need to be.
Oh, I'm grown now and I'm Christian, but also I'm going to dress like a fucking 21-year-old frat douchebag. Fuck you.
Just watching Russell Brand, who has pled not guilty to multiple counts of rape and sexual assault in the UK, being welcomed with open arms here. Pretty large crowd.
Oh my god.
Inside the arena, a long line of
I
MAGA
have bad things to
superstars
say
take their
about that.
turns delivering speeches, geared to a new generation of conservatives.
If I ask a girl out on a date and I get one word wrong, she could report me for sexual harassment. Because the other...
Bro, this guy right there, he's like, yeah, exactly, bro. Exactly. Fucking bunch of wokies. Bunch of wokies, they're gonna get us.
side is interested in destruction. Why are my cities disgusting? I don't want to go there. It smells like weed and halal food.
Oh my God. I think even this crowd's like, ooh, yeah, I don't know about that one, Tucker. You know, like, how much of this audience smokes weed, dude? What is this fucking indoctrination?
Ross Ulbricht, who was the creator of Silk Road site, serving 2 life sentences until Trump got into office. He's a hero to people who believe very passionately in Bitcoin, shows this transition and mainstreaming of crypto investment in the MAGA movement too.
Bruh, two life sentences, serving 2 life sentences is a wild fucking thing to say. I mean, at one point I might be saying that about myself after Trump gets a hold of these videos. But guys, once media becomes illegal and I'm serving my 2 life sentences, all I ask in return for the work that I have done is I want to be Boston Brian's cellmate. I know I'm not wishing it on you, Brian, but if we go together, brother, I hope we cellmates. Okay, and B, please fill up our commissary. All right, please put money on our books. Please, you know, I'm not a cigarette smoker, but you know I do it like a cigar. If you guys could just donate a couple dollars onto the commissary, that'd be dope.
Trump courted the crypto community during the 2024 election.
Hello, Bitcoiners.
Bitcoiners. And then, days before his inauguration, he helped
Holy
launch
shit.
Trump Crypto Coin. It's been described as the greatest grift of his entire presidency.
President Trump and First Lady Melania Trump each launched their own cryptocurrency
Oh
coin.
my God.
His family's use of the meme coin has raised ethical and legal concerns because of how much money it makes the president and his family businesses personally.
While hundreds of thousands of buyers lost money on the coin, top investors were rewarded with access to the president at a VIP White House event.
How is this not the president using the office to enrich himself?
All of the president's assets are in a blind trust, which is managed by his children.
She said a blind trust. It's in his fucking name. The coin is named after him and his wife.
Backstage.
By the way, Steve Bannon, friends with Epstein. I hope you guys have seen those videos of the proposed Steve Bannon, Jeffrey Epstein comeback tour after Epstein got out of jail the first time. Both of them were out of the good graces of the cult leader, and they were hoping to get back into the good graces by going on a tour in which Jeffrey Epstein grossly talked about the Me Too movement and how women's empowerment is important to him. So if you haven't seen that shit, you guys should watch it.
Man, Bannon's fatter than I thought. Jesus
Nah,
Christ.
that's exactly how fat I thought he was.
He looks pregnant. This dude looks pregnant. Look at that. This is bulbous. This is rotund. His belly is rotund. God damn it. That is not healthy, bro.
Steve Bannon, one of the architects of the America First movement.
I got a direct too. Commies don't come over here from England and have any.
I mean,
There's no aesthetic.
Trump's move into meme coins with its anonymous purchasers has made the administration vulnerable to foreign influence.
He launched his coin a couple of days before inauguration, and obviously has rewarded the top 25 purchasers of meme coin
saw the dinner
with an audience at the White House. I mean,
Yeah.
do you not have any concerns about that? How is that America First?
I don't, because you have a whole, listen, part of this thing with that aspect of bringing these young entrepreneurs is we're trying to get entrepreneurial capitalism, right?
Bro, they were foreign interests. The mental gymnastics these people will fucking do is insane.
They're not just young entrepreneurs.
I'm sure
Some
they
of
got,
them are folks, you know,
they
with
got the
associations to
David Sachs
Chinese
of the world.
Communist Party.
Yeah, that I got a problem with. But like I said, I got
just
so
skip
much on
past
my
that.
plate right now. I just don't even focus on the meme coins.
I know you're saying,
Dude. That's the best you're going to get from a Trump supporter.
He's confronted with like, hey man, isn't this like the most corrupt thing anybody's ever seen? And isn't he like robbing his own supporters? And isn't this crypto thing like complete and utter bullshit? And Bannon's
Slappy
like,
Steve.
Yeah. You know, what had happened was me and Craig and them was down by the Safeway, and then I was like, you know, I got a lot of stuff on my plate right now, so I'm not even looking at that right now, bro.
come on. Oh man, could it be any more obvious how Sloppy Steve knows just as well as anybody else? Like, oh shit, yep, they caught him. They caught our boy red-handed.
Yeah, and he looked like
all
it.
the fucking yelping about, oh, Nancy Pelosi and her insider trading and Hunter Biden and the laptop and the
Biggest
corruption.
hypocrites have ever
It all
existed.
is nothing. It is fucking peanuts. It is crumbs compared to one member of the Trump family, not even named Donald Trump. The whole thing is a con. The whole thing is a grift. And Steve knows this. Sloppy Steve.
Sloppy Steve.
I don't know how many of you guys remember this, but remember the whole build the wall scam? So he tried to privately crowdfund using GoFundMe or some shit, building a border wall on the southern border.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that really shouldn't be surprising to any of us. Like I said, the grift is really good. I do not deny that if you want to make money that you should be a right-wing media creator. I mean, these people literally, you can just put up a GoFundMe and be like, we're going to build the wall. And they're like, nope. Here's $45 straight out of my Social Security check. I was going to send it to my grandson, but you know, it's much more important for his future to keep the immigrants out. And then Steve Bannon went to prison.
Now, right off the bat, if you're a thinking person, you're going, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You're going to crowdfund. You don't own the property along the entire southern border. What gives you the right?
Yeah, you can't do that.
I'll build it myself. It's Steve's border wall.
Dude, I laugh, but that shit could be real. I should not laugh. I should not laugh because that's going to break my brain. Dude, when do they start? Okay, guys, here we go. Here it is. When do they start building the border wall with sponsorships? When is there going to be like a portion of the border wall? It's like, this portion of the border wall was sponsored by Monster Energy Drinks. Mountain Dew. Grinder. Oh my God, it's so stupid. I don't think Idiocracy went far enough, guys. I don't know if Idiocracy went far enough. Fucking, you know, this portion of the wall has been sponsored by the Church of Scientology. I actually think the Church of Scientology at this point might be better people than MAGA supporters. That's fucking wild to say. And some of you are like, fuck you. But I'm 10 toes down on that one, boys. Fucking, I think I might be right.
What are you talking about? You can't do that. But apparently they did it, and a bunch of fucking rubes donated so much money, millions of dollars. Turns out Sloppy Steve and all his buddies stole that shit.
Jesus
and one of them might even
Christ.
still be serving time over it. I think Sloppy Steve got a pardon from Trump.
Yep.
That's who this guy is. Anytime anybody talks to him, you should start with criminal fraudster Sloppy Steve Bannon. Should be how everybody talks about him.
There's not an element of it that disturbs you. There's just the potential for massive conflict of interest, of foreign interests influencing the U.S. government, of influencing the U.S. president.
I just don't think to me, the crypto thing is not at that big a level.
Oh my God.
And yet, Bannon himself took on a strategic ownership position with a different meme coin called FJB.
Of course
would you
he
look
did.
at that? Apparently, you know, I'm not sure. I don't know if that's. I'm not even paying attention to that, bro. Oh, why? Because it turns out you're also doing some fucking corrupt bullshit with your coin. Jesus Christ.
Marketed around anti-Joe Biden memes.
Oh my God.
It was also marred by controversy.
Could something named FJB be a scam? That's a deeply rooted primal scream.
Bro, you talking to the scammers as scammers. You can talk about some tenant media up in Tim Pool's house. Like, of course they're going to laugh at that. They're like, we know exactly what you're talking about.
Just on the FJB coin, you know, there was obviously a controversy a few years ago. You're supposed to be donating some of that 8% commission fee or
Groove
sales
Dragon.
fee to charities,
Groove
veteran charities.
Yeah.
Reporting suggesting that you guys didn't do that at the time.
I wasn't part of management, but I was told, I think the management...
You owned it.
No, I didn't. We just don't know. In fact, we had no control of FJB at all. We owned
Something you pushed
coins.
consistently on your...
No.
on your social
We
channels.
only had about 3 or 4. I had about 3. I put it up my thing, but I only had like 3 or 4 memes. So I put a lot of money into it. I think I put 5.
Bro, shut the fuck up. That is not how a fucking meme coin works. Oh, I fucking hate these people. Oh my God, there's no value in a meme coin. You wouldn't buy a bunch of meme coin that you started. It's not like there's a fucking, like, meme coin merchandise store where you take fucking Trump coin and you buy shit with. Holy fuck, do I have to explain this to people? Like, Bitcoin by itself, when it was started, had this whole fucking idea, this decentralization. It's all, to me now, it's garbage, to be honest with you. It's been made off with by fucking grifters and shit. I was never a huge Bitcoin person in the first place, but I understood why some people thought it was a good idea. But at least Bitcoin had this, like, idea that you were going to be able to use your Bitcoin to buy shit. And I think there's even places that do take Bitcoin now, right? Like, there was an idea that Bitcoin was going to decentralize money and get it out of the hands of the government. That was never the point of any meme coin or shit coin. Like, literally, the SEC says meme coins have no intrinsic value. They're meant as a novelty. Now, by the way, the reason that Donald Trump changed that wording, had that wording changed in the SEC's language, was because he doesn't want to be investigated. That's why there will be no investigations of any meme coins, whether it's Hawk Tuah or it's fucking Steve Bannon or it's Donald fucking Trump. Nobody is going to investigate any of these because Donald Trump made sure that meme coins are seen, which, by the way, was violated by the fact that he offered dinners based off that meme coin. That means it does have an intrinsic value. That means that owning Donald Trump's coin leads to something, intrinsic value. You don't put $5 million into your own meme coin. You make money off the fees. This guy is, oh my God.
$500,000 into it. And
did you lose it all?
Yeah, I think it all went to zero.
Lost all of it?
Yeah.
There was also
we never took any cash out, but those guys, I'm pretty sure if you talk to Boris and the team, I'm pretty sure they gave all the money they were supposed to the charities.
So if I called all those charities and asked them, they would tell me
Yeah,
that?
I think so, but I would talk to Boris Epstein, the guys are actually close to the man.
But it was you and Boris who were doing it together, right?
Boris and a bunch of other people. You know, I lost $500,000, but it's...
There was some reporting at the time. There was some reporting at the time saying the DOJ was looking into it. Were you ever contacted by the DOJ about that one?
I don't think that's all. That's all phony. I think it's fake news. I think it's pretty good.
Fake news? Solid defense.
Disclosure about what you're getting into. If people can...
Even the President of the United States can make hundreds of millions of dollars off of it.
I have no problem.
Via foreign investment.
I have no problem with that.
It's not
Mr. Populist. No problem with that whatsoever. Very populist of the president to make hundreds of millions of dollars off a fucking scam crypto coin. It's just unbelievable.
Wow.
It's unbelievable. The whole thing is a con. The whole thing is a grift. The whole thing is corrupt. They're just so open and straightforward with their corruption. I've literally heard people say that too. That like, well, since it's so in front of the scenes, I guess I'm okay with it. Like, there's literally people who, well, he's doing it right in front of my face, so I guess I feel like that's. It's like, if you just hide in plain sight, then it's okay. I mean, the disgust and disdain I have for these people is just off the charts. It is absolutely immeasurable. And
you speak for all of us.
Any honest person will readily admit we've never seen a government this corrupt in American history.
Ever.
This is by
And
far
that's
and away
crazy.
the worst, and it's not even close. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe.
All right. Let's get that out of there. Whoops. Yeah. Like I said, we started this show with talking about how in your face the Epstein shit is. How in your face the hypocrisy of putting a person who said that police officers should be murdered by January 6 rioters, how in your face that corruption is, to then pardon that guy and then make him part of the investigating team that is attempting to defend those same January 6ers that, by the way, also harm children, that, by the way, also have child porn, by the way, also assaulted and domestically violenced women. Like, it's fucking mind-boggling. And this is why people come on my channel, you know, certain lefties that get really upset. And they're saying things like, no, man, like, you're part of the problem. This is why we lost. Like, you can't condescend to these people. You got to stop being insulting. You got to stop demeaning these people, man. Like, this is why we lost. It's not why we lost. We didn't lose because we were mean. We didn't lose because of Joe Biden's crime family. And the reason that I say that is because you look at what these people have invested in. They love this. We didn't lose because I'm mean to people. We lost because you wouldn't speak up for the people that did want to be a part of it, but were afraid to get bullied by those people. Because they looked at you and they thought, this motherfucker will never defend me. But me, I will defend you. I'll defend you even when you don't like me. I've said it over and over again. I got about 3.5 years left on the left. Because once we get Trump out, once we fucking just get rid of MAGA and the whole mentality surrounding MAGA, I'm going to be too mean to be over here. People are going to be going back to like, hey, man, like, maybe we shouldn't say insulting things about these people. I stand on business. And these people are insane. One of my favorite things to tell people is this. We're all a little bit crazy. Some of us genetically. Some of us due to trauma and life experience. And we all live in this mental institution together. And I don't mind living in this mental institution with you crazy motherfuckers. In fact, it's fun. And I enjoy it. And I love diversity. And I love seeing the different people in our culture sharing what makes them who they are because of their life experiences. And I don't even give a shit if you disagree with me politically. We can live in this sane asylum together. We don't have to agree on everything. But we do have to agree on some very fundamental values. I'm not going to agree with you if you're a racist piece of shit. I'm not going to agree with you if you're a homophobic piece of shit. And I'm not going to just stand here with my thumb up my ass while you go around finding cans of gasoline and pouring them on the floor of the building that we all have to reside in, and then just hang out while you go look for some matches. No, I'm going to tackle your ass, and I'm going to yell to everybody in the room with me, this motherfucker's crazy, and he's trying to burn down the country. And if that's a little too much for people, it's okay. I'm still going to defend you. I'm still going to stand up for you. I don't need appreciation. I don't need a pat on the back. All I need is people that want to get some shit done and are tired of seeing these motherfuckers steal from the middle class, steal from the impoverished, to continue to hoard the resources that should be for the people who made this country what it is. That is the middle class people, the upper middle class people, the lower middle class people, and the impoverished in this country. Because without us, you ain't shit. I wanted to watch one of the video before we get there, before this is all over, and then we're gonna have another show after mine, Visora. I hope I'm saying that right. Down Under, coming on at 7 o'clock. Well, 7 o'clock if you're Pacific. 10 o'clock if you're Eastern, coming on after me, so I want everybody to stay with that. But we got about 20 minutes left, so I wanted to watch this other video talking about Zohran Mamdani, speaking of people that are going to defend the stuff that we're doing here. So let's get this guy up on the screen. Get my old ass. Oops, that ain't going to work. Oh, that ain't going to work either. Here we go. Look at me go. I'm pushing the buttons. Where's Mitchell at? I'm pushing the buttons. So, when I say this, the other night, last night actually, I was talking about people that get shit done and people that don't get shit done. And, some of my subscribers, they ask me, they say, well, hold on. Do you think the Democrats are going to do anything? Do you think that these people are going to save us? And what I have to say about that, and what I said last night, I'm going to say again, primaries matter. I'm a registered independent, and the next chance that I have to re-register, I will register as a Democrat. I've said before, I hate parties. I don't believe in gangs. I had a chance to join any gang I wanted to when I was a kid, and I chose not to, because I think that values are expressed by individuals, not by parties. But I will join the Democratic Party to vote in the primaries, because in my state, you have to be in the party, right? When we talk about whether or not Democrats that get into office, let's talk about November, right? If we talk about Democrats getting into office in November, and you ask me, if Joe Manchin was still around, if Kristen Sinema was around, do I have faith? Do I trust them to vote to impeach Donald Trump? I'm going to tell you no. I'm going to tell you no, because I don't. Because I know that they don't stand on business. Because I know that they're just as bad and corrupt as the people that we complain about. When I look at a guy like Chuck Schumer, I'm concerned. I'm worried he ain't going to do the right thing. I'm worried Hakeem Jeffries is going to take a picture looking like a fucking 12-year-old with a baseball bat because they took a picture from above him instead of from below him. Can't even take a goddamn picture right, dog. No, I'm concerned, just like you guys are. And that's why I say primaries matter. And that's why I support Zohran Mamdani. Obviously, he's just a mayor. Obviously, he's not in Congress. Obviously, he's not in the Senate. So he's not going to be a part of the decision to impeach Donald Trump. But he is going to be a part of the movement to make this country more progressive, more democratically socialist, and to get us health care, to improve the lives of the people in New York. And I think that's important. And I think that we should see the people that are supporting him, that are speaking out in defense of him, that are already in office. And this video here is about Elizabeth Warren defending Zohran Mamdani as CNBC millionaire host cries. And this is from the Rational National. I'm losing my ability to speak here at the end.
Nobody disagrees with that, Senator, but raising taxes in order to do it? Why is that the answer?
Oh, dear. Are you worried that billionaires are going to go hungry?
Oh, won't somebody please think of the wealthy?
Dude. I love Elizabeth Warren.
Once again, the wealthy are using their massive media platforms to cry about Zohran Mamdani. This time, David Faber, a host on CNBC, got into a debate with Elizabeth Warren over Mamdani's policies to tax the wealthy. Now, in this video, I'll get to a couple clips from that. I'll also get to Mamdani's reaction to the clip and some details around his actual policy. Before I even get to the first clip here, I just think it's worth acknowledging that every single news network represents the interests of the economic well-off for the obvious reason that most people that run corporations are massive capitalists. So, of course, they're going to operate in a certain way where the default perspective is everything about capitalism is amazing, and if you challenge it in any way, then you're a problem, as opposed to maybe aspects of this, at the very least, aren't quite working out for the vast majority of people. But of course, you're not going to hear that kind of perspective dominate any network, let alone CNBC, the network for the business people. But Warren on there, I think, does a pretty good job at pushing back on David Faber's attempts at points. So let me play the first clip.
New York does not operate in a vacuum. It competes with other cities. And so this idea of somehow raising taxes on the wealthiest New Yorkers, who, by the way, I would point out, pay roughly 15% of their income right now between city and state. Raising taxes on them will simply drive them away. Shouldn't the focus of a...
Bullshit. And you want to know why that's bullshit? Because rich people don't just have a bunch of money. Rich people own assets. Rich people own buildings. They own real estate. They own corporations. They own businesses. Do you know who buys their products? You do. That's who. If you're just talking state to state, like, oh, they're going to move to Florida. Oh, they're going to move to this. They're going to move to that. Whatever. Sure, they might do that. But that's why this country has to be unified. Stop making this country a haven for billionaires in certain states. This is why it's not a eat the elephant one bite at a time. This is why it has to be a unified movement. People have asked me before, they said, don't you think that they'll just pick up their ball and go home? Won't they just leave to Europe? Won't they just leave to China? Won't they go somewhere where they can evade taxes? Why do you think these people live here now? Do you think these people have lived here for generations and that they're just going to pick up and leave because they have nothing attaching them to this country but a little bit of money? No, people think that billionaires are somehow this deity that operates in a different manner than they do. They're going to stay for the same reasons you do, because you like the beaches. They're going to stay for the same reasons that you do, because you got a good climate. It ain't like they're not going to move to fucking Alabama. Okay, sorry for the people in Alabama. I've heard Alabama is actually a really pretty state. I'm just saying it's hot as fuck, okay? It's not where billionaires want to go. Sorry, Alabama. I'm so sorry for that. That was all California right there. That is my bad. All I'm saying is this idea that rich people are going to pick up this shit and just go home. It doesn't make any sense. And there's actually proof in studies that show that that's not what happens. And even if they do, I'm from California. One of the best things about California is that we have a lot of entrepreneurs. So when you have a company that chooses to leave California, what that does is it opens a space for entrepreneurs. That's good. That's what we want. We want space opened up for people in the middle class and upper middle class to try to bring forth business ideas to take the place of these ultra wealthy corporations, because they become competition. We want them to have more competition. And we want people that don't have enough to have a chance at getting enough. And you're not going to do that if all of your spaces are occupied by people that hoard assets. It's fucking ridiculous.
Mayor be on delivering services to the constituents of the city and doing that by raising the most revenue as possible without chasing
Groovy, I see you over on Twitch, and I'm not sure we can go with that.
businesses and the high income taxpayers out of the city, because they can go to Austin, they can go to Dallas, they can go to Atlanta, they can go to Nashville. This is your issue. It's a national issue, not a local issue.
The issue is affordability. Do you know how many working families are chased out of New York City every day because they can't afford housing, they can't afford groceries, they can't afford child care?
Good job.
What Zoran
Good
is
job,
saying is, I want people to be able to afford to live in New York City. That's what keeps it a vibrant city. That's what
Imagine workers being healthy, having transportation, and being able to get to the fucking place that you want them to work. Like I started my career in fast food management, and I worked quite a few years as a fast food manager, right? And the mentality in fast food is hire and fire. You hire people, if they burn out, you fire people, and you just keep churning them in and out. And that's what this country does as a whole. It's really legitimately ran like a fast food restaurant. It's get the workers in the building, work them until they fucking die, replace them with new people, and if possible, let's replace them with robots. It's fucking mind-boggling that people are like, you know, like if we have to get healthcare and like, you know, if we get like a 4-day work week and like vacation and paid family leave and insurance, you know, these poor billionaires, how are they even going to exist?
what makes people want to live
Nobody
here.
disagrees with that, Senator, but raising taxes in order to do it? Why is that the answer?
Oh, dear. Are you worried that billionaires are going to go hungry?
No, I'm worried that they're going to leave and spend their money elsewhere.
You know, they've threatened to do that over and
You know, once again, do you know what fucking billionaires spend their money on? Like, do you think that they're fucking going down to Costco and just like that's what's keeping the fucking economy alive? They buy assets. They buy fucking assets. They buy houses. Why do you think there's a fucking housing problem? What happens? Let's say Kamala Harris gets into office. What happens if she builds 150,000 new houses, 300,000 new houses? That does not solve the problem for housing in America. Do you know why? Because places like BlackRock will buy up swaths of those homes because it is much better to buy homes, own the real estate. McDonald's is a perfect example of it. McDonald's does not make money off of restaurants. McDonald's makes money off of real estate. Like, if the billionaires aren't around to buy homes, to buy businesses, to buy fucking corporation places for the corporations to be, who buys them? People buy them. Well, the next thing you know, the fucking price of those places is going to drop into a fucking pit. No shit! That's the fucking point. It should drop into a pit where somebody can fucking afford it that works every day of their fucking life at a shitty job building fucking products for other people to consume. Like, you can't toss them a fucking bone. They can't get a fucking house. Yeah, I hope that they fucking move out and they stop buying shit there. Because that means maybe, just maybe, somebody in the middle class might be able to snatch up a house.
Over and over.
They have. They've left. I mean,
here's the thing.
And Goldman Sachs, when they create new jobs, they do it in Dallas. And Blackstone won't build a new headquarters. And go on and on.
Oh, no. Not Blackstone. Not Goldman Sachs. All right. I got to get to the absurdity around the wealthy leaving. But let's just say they did. Okay. That's supposed to make things worse? If anything, there'll be more vacancies and the cost of housing will go down. So
did not pre-watch.
Don't threaten us with a good time. But before I get to some details here and the absurdity around people or the wealthy leaving states over taxes, it's worth acknowledging. I have covered media for 10 years. I have never seen hosts get more animated than when they are defending the wealthy. It is the one thing where they get super emotional about it because they themselves are one of those people. So he is freaking out right now over a 2% tax. That's why he's crying. Zoran's revenue plan will raise corporate tax rate to match New Jersey's 11.5%, bringing in $5 billion, and he will tax the wealthiest 1% of New Yorkers, those earning above $1 million annually, a flat 2% tax. Right now, income tax rates are essentially the same whether you make 50 grand or 50 million, which that should be the news story.
Yep.
That is
There you
insane.
go.
That the tax rate
That's
is the
insane.
same if you make 50 grand or 50 million. Now, the raising of these taxes on the wealthy is not without precedent. In Massachusetts, the state legislature enacted a new statewide millionaires tax starting to enact, at the exact same income level as Zoran's proposal. Those earning more than $1 million a year at a rate of 4% surcharge on top of other tax obligations. It raised $2.2 billion. Most of the surtax revenue is set to be spent on investment in Boston's public transit system. And in D.C., they raised tax on high earners in 2021. Those raises impacted households making more than 250 grand. Those making over 1 million saw a 1.8% marginal tax rate increase. For someone making 1 million, that came out to an extra $6,500. The hike was estimated to raise about 100 million a year. And did they all leave?
No.
It impacted Washington, D.C. so much that they actually moved the capital, since all those people are, most of them are incredibly well off. No, everything's fine. Nothing.
Yep.
Nothing was
no studies
lost.
show this shit. Yep.
Zoran's reaction to the clip here in text form. Working class New Yorkers are leaving New York City at significantly higher rates than wealthy residents, according to research by the Fiscal Policy Institute.
That's why they want you to have more
concerns,
kids.
especially housing and the cost of raising a family, are major drivers of population loss in New York State. The report notes that 90% of this loss comes from New York City, with Black and Hispanic residents, households with young children, and low to middle income families most likely to leave. In contrast, wealthy New Yorkers have left the state at much lower rates, with the exception of a temporary surge in their migration rates in 2020 and 2021 that was likely induced by the COVID-19 pandemic, which, of course, if you were super wealthy during COVID and you were able to leave a densely populated place like New York City, you're more likely to leave to avoid the crowds. In typical years, the average New Yorker has been 4 times more likely to leave the state than the top 1% of earners. So this idea that the wealthy are going to leave when, whether it's their companies, their social circles, are where they live in New York, is wild. There's other studies on this. Public Policy Institute of California demonstrated that those who continue to migrate to the state in California are actually high income earners.
Yep.
It is the working and middle classes who are forced to leave California due to the ongoing affordability crisis.
Yep.
So similar to New York City. Also, research conducted before the pandemic revealed that millionaires tend to stay put when income taxes are increased. Outmigration would physically, as I was saying, disconnect them from their social and business networks and withdraw their access to a number of essential and desirable amenities.
Why do you think people live in Los Angeles? I grew up down by Los Angeles, right? If you ever been to Los Angeles, if you live in the poorer sections, not great, right? You live in Compton, you live on Crenshaw, not great. But if you live in Malibu, you fucking the Palisades, not so great right now, but it used to be. But the main reason that people live there is the amount of amenities. If anything you want is right there in Los Angeles. And for rich people, the most important reason to be in Los Angeles is ease of access. They want to be able to connect with other high-profile individuals. Now, unless all of these, ultra-wealthy people are deciding that they're going to start an all-whites community in Springfield, Missouri. Maybe that is what it is. Maybe I missed one there, guys. Unless you're going to create a community of just wealthy people somewhere outside of California, because it already exists in California and Silicon Valley, unless you're going to, uproot all of that and go somewhere else, that doesn't make any sense. And once again, they're just trying to keep you scared. They don't want you to stand up, because if you stand the fuck up, you're going to find out you a little bit taller than them. You got a little more reach than they got. Because when all of us stand up together, we're a whole lot fucking stronger than these billionaires, than these ultra wealthy corporations. But the problem is that we can't stand up together because people have been convinced that the person that they should hate is not the ultra wealthy billionaire that's literally siphoning off of them like a fucking vampire, but instead the immigrant that comes across the border that just walked across the country with a baby on their hip. Or the LGBT person who's just struggling to even have a fucking place in the society. That's who they think you should hate. People that make up like less than 1.6% of our society. The 10 transgender athletes in college. And as long as they continue to keep you fucking distracted, thinking that that's where you should be afraid of, they can continue to pick your fucking pocket. And they have no problem with that. These people are experienced thieves. And to be honest, most people won't notice it. They'll turn around and they'll pat their pockets and go, well, hold on, where'd my wallet go? And you know the first thing they'll do? They'll look at a black dude across from them and go, I bet that motherfucker took it. Oh, why would you think that black dude? Well, you know, they commit a lot of crime. Well, how do you know they commit a lot of crime? Somebody told me that. Did you ever look that shit up? Like, dude, that's who these people are. And we got to get better. You know, this is a good video, and I want you guys, if you guys want to watch the rest of this video from the Rational National, I'd love for you guys to go check it out. So here, I'm going to put it in chat so that way everybody can see it. But we're getting close on our time here. I want to make sure I'm not being rude. So we're going to put this in here. Please go watch it later. Please stay and watch the next show. But if you guys bookmark that video, make sure you give it a like and a subscribe. You know, this is what I just got to say about all this. We started the show by talking about the cyclical nature of what happens in empires. By the way, the average life of an empire is 250 years. We celebrate our 250th year next year. America is an adolescent. And I've heard a European person talk about this once when investigating. What do they mean when they say identity politics? Because I was like, this term gets tossed around a lot. And I wanted to find somebody that wasn't from the U.S. I wanted to find somebody that was pedantic, that just spoke about it in a way that was just not really biased to either side. And this guy said, when you look at France, when you look at Europe, when you look at other countries, you tend to see a grown-up country, a country that no longer accepts that the government is the adult in the room and that you have to listen to everything they say. They accept that as people, they might have differences and they might disagree, but that they're the most important part of the country. And they said that the reason that is because America is 250 years old. We are prepubescent. We are in a growth spurt, and it's painful. And we've decided that instead of looking at the people around us and saying, hey, what if me and you got together? What if we stood in solidarity and said, when your wife gets cancer, you don't deserve to lose your house? What if we said that you get to sit down in front of a person that interviews somebody and you don't have to worry about your name being either Jamal or John? What if we stood in solidarity and said, you know what, housing prices are too expensive. And if I can't buy a home for me and my family, and if that's the only way that I can bank a little bit of money to leave behind for my children, or perhaps, like I said, my wife if I have a heart attack. If we got together and we said that, imagine if we could get some shit done. And instead, politicians, and I'm not just blaming the right for this, I'm blaming a lot of establishment Democrats that also made this thing too. Politicians have convinced people that the people that they should be most afraid of are those people down on the bottom because they're going to steal your cookie. Meanwhile, they don't just steal your cookie, they steal the whole fucking package. And when we get to this cyclical argument that this is 250 years into a empire that potentially is on the verge of collapse for a multitude of reasons, we go back to what Gary Economics Channel said. That there's multiple stages. And I don't remember all the stages, so I'm going to mess this up. But one of the stages is the government having money. Government has money, the middle class does not. So to take care of the impoverished, the government spends money. The government spends money to help the impoverished. Some people in the middle class raise into the upper middle class and eventually to become the ultra wealthy. Once that ultra wealthy is established, generally the government is now in debt. That's where we're at. Once the government is in debt, the government can no longer help the people. Once they can't help the people, the oligarchs have to step in to help the people. When they choose not to step in to help the people, but instead suck off them like vampires, they eventually disillusion and disenfranchise the poor people in our community. They continue to create a situation where they cannot become educated, they cannot become skilled, and they are stuck in their situation and have no upwards movement. Once they have diminished the lower middle class to almost nothing, then they start on the middle class. And as I've said before, the upper middle class is now the middle class. The middle class is now the working poor, and the impoverished now are disenfranchised. They feel like, fuck it, why do I even do this? That's why crime rates are so high in impoverished communities, because you have no hope. Once they start sucking off the middle class, which is now the upper middle class, and you're the only people that are left that are consuming their products and continuing to generate wealth for them as they buy up your houses, as they continue to combine corporations into monopolies, as they continue to create a bar that keeps you from having any upward movement in this country, and they're done with you, and you have nothing left, you are completely fucking drained, then they turn their eyes to the other wealthy people in this world. Because it's a big fucking game. And the only place that they have for you in this game is in the military, on the front line, fighting their wars to take wealth from other wealthy people. And if you don't believe me, just look around. Look at what we're doing. Look at the way that we are causing conflict with other countries. Look at the way that we're building a golden dome system to protect us. Look at the way that we're treating other trade allies. This is an attempt to isolate the American people and put them in a place where they have no other option than to join up and fight the wars for these ultra-wealthy oligarchs, or to live in poverty and build the fucking robots that are Elon Musk's friends. All right, guys, I want you guys to hang around. We got Visora down under. Once again, hope I'm saying your name right. I'm going to ask Google to phonetically pronounce that for me after I get off here. Trail Park Education. I appreciate all of you guys. Always have, always will. Remember, you can disagree. You don't have to agree on everything. You don't have to believe the things I say, and you shouldn't believe everything I say. That's a fucking cult. Instead, you should research things. You should read articles, read books, read Aristotle's Politics. It's fucking hard to read, but do it anyways. But educate yourself. You don't have to agree with me on everything. We just have to agree on the fundamentals. We have to agree on the fact that we as a people deserve the bounties of what we have done in this country, not the oligarchs. All right, guys. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys, and I hope you guys stick around. I'll pop into the chat after I get done here, and I run upstairs. But stick around for our next show. Thank you to this space for hosting me. I appreciate you guys so much. So thank you, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your night.
Hello, everybody. Oh my goodness, I didn't even think I was jumping on that quickly. Well, welcome, everybody. Let me just say, can you hear me? Sound working? Yes? Hey, Hey, good to see you guys. I'm seeing chat working. So, hello. Good morning. Well, actually, good evening to most of you, but welcome to the official premiere of Vizora Down Under. I'm incredibly excited to get to work with all of these fantastic people that are a part of this collective. We need more leftist media so desperately. Show this Space TV some love, drop a like on the stream, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you don't know me, my name is Vizora. I'm a Turkish-born, American-raised, and Australian live streamer. I stream to Twitch and YouTube most days. Not as much as I'd like to, but, you know. I cover everything from war to politics to philosophy, psychology, sociology. To be fair, most of those all fit together under the politics umbrella anyway, but welcome to all of the lovely new people in chat, as well as all of the familiar faces, because I see quite a few. And fair warning, if you haven't watched me before, I do tend to hop back and forth quite a bit on stream. A little bit ADHD, but it's also because a lot of this stuff actually ties in together, and it's quite important. So today, I really want to talk about the war